Welcome to Don't Quote Me on That. One day we will have an intro, but today is not that day.
Hello, hello, hello. I'm Kalina.
And I'm Elanor.
And welcome back to Don't Quote Me on That, where we talk about movies. And we are going to get right into it because it's
Yes,
already been too
we
long.
are. And today we are talking about 5 Seconds of Summer's new album, Everyone's a Star. Um,
Can I tell you I'm nervous?
I
Eleanor!
wasn't, and then now I am.
We had a little bit of a rough go getting set up here. But I did pick my microphone because I felt like it was very star powery. Please don't look at the back where it's broken. but I'm a little nervous because I'm looking at Eleanor's PowerPoint here, and Eleanor's PowerPoint says everyone's a star, or are they?
Or are
And
they?
Eleanor sent me a text earlier in the week that also had questionable vibes in regard to the album. Also, we did kind of talk about this album already because we did a 5 Seconds of Summer episode 3, 4 weeks ago. First, latest, greatest when they put out the first single from this album. And I did mean to give that a little quick rewatch because I don't remember a single thing I said. So if I repeat some points, my bad. And if I've changed my mind, I'm allowed to do that.
Deal with it, yeah. You're a new person now. Isn't it like every
I've been
seven days we get to reset our opinions completely?
dude, I'm a last new person from the 20 minutes it took us to set this up.
Oh god. Yeah, setup today was rough. But don't worry, this is the first time that we're recording this, except
For
for
sure.
the other times that we did it. Okay, so here's the roadmap for today.
Okay.
I'm going to explain it to Kalina like she doesn't know. Um, I have compiled a little bit of information, mostly the date that this was released, to start, and then we'll go track by track, and then we'll do kind of a little overarching kind of theme wrap up.
Sounds good to me.
Sound good? Okay,
It's brand new
perfect.
information.
I will start. This album just came out. Fantastic. Um, it's fantastic that it just came out, to be clear. I also made that the or are they joke before I like did my whole listen to this album. I just thought it was funny.
Okay. I'm still
Um,
nervous.
this is Five Sauce's sixth studio album. I will say way better name than any of their other albums.
My God, listen, and I love you boys.
Thank you for picking a name.
Thank you. And like committed, like I feel like they really committed to it.
Mhm. Um, this is the first album that's been released after everyone has released their solo albums. Um, I think we touched on this previously, but there were two solo albums and then a Five Sauce album and then two more solo albums, if I remember correctly. So this is like the first album that's like full reunification after everybody split off. Not that they broke up, but like
Hmm.
still. They've all had time to kind of really get into what their solo album or what their solo careers might sound like or do
Hmm.
sound like. I have only listened to, I think, Luke's album that we listened to for an episode for this. I have not
Allegedly.
listened to anybody else's solo work.
I've
Have you?
heard one song by Michael Clifford, which I enjoyed. I thought it was fun. And then no, because I unfortunately all love and respect didn't have any interest in Ashton's album. And I wanted Eleanor and I to listen to Callum Hood's album, but I was saving it for like a time where Eleanor had no choice but to agree to do it because they don't want to do it. And so instead, just I've had what I do is sometimes when I want to watch stuff, I don't put stuff in my watch later on YouTube. I just I'll watch the first 2 seconds so it's in my YouTube history and I'll come back to it. I've had the two Callum Hood music videos in my YouTube history since they came out because I'm just wait. I think I'm just gonna listen to it by myself at this point.
I think if you really like it, then I would be more willing to listen to it. Um,
Okay.
However, I've come to the realization the past couple of weeks that I don't think I like when men make music. Um, and this is definitely me evolving, okay? Because growing up, I didn't think I liked when women made music. I have since changed my tone. I have
The tables have
become,
turned.
yes, the tables have turned. Um, because like sometimes a man is making music and I'm like, okay.
And it's not that so much that I only like when men make music, but I only listen to men making music, unfortunately, by
I
men.
didn't know music existed until One Direction put out their first album, so like I also have a really good excuse.
Yeah. So,
Um anyway, so far the album um also newsflash, I just read like the Genius pages and the Wikipedia page for this album. I didn't have a lot of time to do really deep digging because
okay.
of who I am as a person, but according to the Wikipedia page, so far it has been a well reviewed album. I'm seeing a lot of like 4 out of 5s, 8 out of 10s, things like that. Um, I pulled out one line that um, I think is a through line that Five Sauce is also trying to give throughout this album. This is from a review from Clash, where they said it feels like their debut record, but grown up, bolder, and fully in command of its sound. Which I do think is kind of the vibe that Five Sauce was trying to put out pre-album, and I think kind of stays in line with the things they've said about this album. Um, but I think that's really kind of the mindset they want us in going into listening to this album, is that it is not like new Five Sauce, it's evolved Five Sauce.
It's very much Five Sauce, like at their start, but with some depth to it.
Mhm.
Like that they just could not have as 14, 15, however, teen-year-old boys they were.
Understandably.
And I realized this the last 2 weeks when I was doing album reviews by myself. I really, really like when an artist kind of connects back within an album back to like on later songs, connects back to an earlier song. But as a whole, I like when they connect back to earlier work because I think
Mhm.
it gives you a really, really good picture of how that artist and writer views the creative process and like views the things that they end up writing about, regardless of what it is. And so I think I really like this concept of okay, we're returning to the start. These are these boxes we were put in. These are kind of where we started out as creative artists. Now we've had, 6 studio albums, we've had solo work, we've like grown individually and as a group. So returning to those same ideas, but with, hindsight's 2020.
It is.
Raw.
Um, I I was excited for this album. I liked the like kind of visual promo lead ups that we had.
Yeah.
Um, unless you have anything else to add currently, are you ready to jump into the songs?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Okay. We're gonna go in album order for these. I know some people prefer alphabetical, but
Please shut up. What's the first track, Eleanor?
the first track is called "Everyone's a Star." They started with the title track, classic. Um, my main critique of this album, and it will come up again, there is way too much little like studio time talking both before and after way too many of these songs. It is one of my least favorite things that a song does, and that is how they opened this album. So I was not off to a good start.
Mm-hmm.
Um, however, I do think it is a very solid opening for the album. Um, I think it sets up the vibes of the album very well. I also think it matches like both the vibe of the album and the vibe of all the promo work in a way that feels very cohesive, and also it's not something that everybody can do.
Mm-hmm.
Also, any song that Julian Bonetta is has his hands on, I'm gonna like. Um, I'm fairly easy to please. Also, I pulled a Callum quote where he was basically talking about how this song was created by kind of trying to find a phrase that is latch onable, and the album and kind of song and world was built around the phrase "everyone's a star," um, which I think shows throughout the album.
I wrote down the same thing you did, which is I don't mind the talking bit. I don't like when they go on too long, and I felt like they did a good job of cutting it out. I watched a couple interviews they did, and I know in one of them the boys were saying that The Luke clip is like a 30-second clip they cut down to 2 seconds. So like I to me it's just like it's in and out.
Could have been worse.
Um I do like instrumentally. I think this is a really good once you listen to the rest of the album, I think this is a good balance of the I feel like there's two distinct sides to the album. I feel like this is a good balance of them. There's like a nice little like triangle esque sound in the beginning that kind of sounds like a twinkling star. So I just thought like to me at least, so I just thought that was fun for everyone's a star. And then in regard to the quote of like just having a phrase they wanted to latch on to, Callum was saying I think they heard like an ACDC show or something. And ACDC just has such a discography and history and just like following and status almost. They're just such they're rock stars in every sense of the word. And so having this thing to like latch onto. And I think in another interview they brought it up again and Ashton or Luke said something along the lines of they kind of wanted every song to have that sort of catchphrase idea. And I think you can really tell and it makes the songs really strong because they're built around a very, very clear crystallized idea. I'm trying to think about when I was talking about this recently as well. And I think it's really important that if a band goes into something with a clear quote unquote end goal, obviously within reason, I think the process is so much more streamlined versus
Mhm.
let's like kind of see what comes out.
And I think, not to talk about Taylor Swift, um, I do think one good thing you can do is have the promo be very consistent with what the album is going to give. I do think Five Sauce went a little hammy with it, this lead up, but I think after listening to the album, like it works.
Yeah.
In that it was a little tongue in cheek. Um, and like this album is at points a little tongue in cheek, and I just appreciate the consistency.
Eleanor and I, above everything else, love a commitment to a bit. Because if you're
Exactly.
gonna go in, you gotta go in a thousand
You got
percent.
to do it.
Speaking of 1,000%, here's a song that got thousands of plays. It's not okay.
Okay. It got 1,000% in my heart.
Did it?
No.
Oh wait, I wanted to say, I just think this is something that'll come up later. Is one of the lines in "Everyone's a Star" is "Everything is better when you're lying next to me," and he says it as a bridge, as it says it in the bridge. And I think this was I want to touch on this a little bit, but I do agree it was a good album opener because again, it gave. Personally, I like a loud opener. I like an opener that's like,
Mhm.
"Here's the album. Here's what you're getting." Um, but I think this was a really, really good balance and kind of, especially thinking about like a new Five Sauce fan because they don't always make. You got to consider you want to get new fans obviously when you're creating music. I think this is a good taste into what they're going to give you across their discography as a whole.
Mhm. I agree.
Not okay.
Not okay. We talked about this song fairly in depth in one of our last episodes. This was the first single of the album. It's good. I hope we get Bite the Apple merch. I
No,
think it
please
would
read
be
the rest of
fun.
that. Please read the rest of your bullet point.
Um, I do think I need my business partner to okay that before
It's
I
okay.
do it.
Go.
Okay. I hope we get Bite the Apple merch. I think they could cunt it up.
I can't.
Is my official review.
I can't read Eleanor's bullet points before they say them 'cause they're very funny.
I also pulled a Luke quote about this song that said it has the older 5 seconds of summer energy, but it's different, which is the whole MO of this chapter. Um, the song is also a nod to the band itself. We pull those sides out of each other. And again, 5 Seconds of Summer loves 5 Seconds of Summer above all else. Um,
And that's
and
why
Not
they're the greatest
Okay.
boy band in the world.
And Not Okay is not a not okay song.
That was rough. I really like the
Thank you.
gorillas esque vocals we've got going on here. I think
Yes.
Luke explored a lot of things vocally, but not so much in like testing the limits of his ability, but just different deliveries, which I enjoyed. I had to get real creative with my notes because, like we said, we did talk about this song already. I do just want to bring up the two lines. I like the darker side of me, and all of my insane comes out to play because that's gonna come up later. Classic 5 Seconds of Summer. Okay,
Classic.
classic 5 Seconds of Summer. Also, I wrote down "Bite the Apple," not so much in regard to merch, but I do feel like that. I feel like that's kind of like like a subtler through line throughout the album of
Mhm.
like biting the
Do it.
poison
You know
apples,
you
like
wanna.
buy yeah, that too, but like buying into something that maybe didn't quite turn out how you expected it to. Also, Michael, I saw him talking about this. I just wanted to bring it up. Got to also try out something vocally because he's got these like fry scream vocals in the last chorus, I believe, which is nice. This gives me like sounds good, feels good vibes.
Yes. Oh, is this the song I did not pull?
I feel like they got
Uh,
not experimental and sounds good, feels good, and that was kind of around the era where I stopped listening to 5 Seconds of Summer. But if what I remember, it was very like I don't know how else to describe it, like shouting through a megaphone, like kind of a
mhm.
call to action esque almost, while like dealing with these darker themes, let's say. So this very much felt like a bridging between that and there's an evolved sound of theirs.
There's also one of the lines of this song I think speaks to my personal thesis of the album, which is the bit where they go, "Where did the good boy go? Killed by desire."
Mhm.
Um,
I was listening to the song and I was
banger.
like, honestly, I could just talk about the line. Like lyrically, I like the album, but the lines in this song alone, I was like, we could just every line in this song, I think, hits a point in the album.
There was also a bit I saw about where Ashton was talking about this song, um, and he was like, "I was thinking about all the dumb stuff you say if you
Oh
get
yeah,
drunk," and yeah,
because I think in like the interlude, he's like, I said I loved you, but I didn't really mean it.
oops.
My bad. No, I mean we talked about the song. It good. I think it's a really good single. It was their first single. Way to start off because while I like
Way to start
some of
off.
the other, while I think I like the other two singles better. Um, I think this was like very much in your face. Hey, we're
Mhm.
back, and they announced this in the album on the same day. I'm pretty sure the single and the album, so it was very much like, guess who's back? Back
Back
again.
again. I think talking about Eminem means that we are officially done with this
For
song, and I think
sure.
we can move on. Okay, Kalina, how do you feel about Telephone
This is
Busy?
my favorite single off this album. I love this. It's so good. I didn't think I'd like the talking vocals so much. I feel like throughout the album they do a lot of they really let Luke be lead vocalist here.
Mhm.
Sorry. Which I was funny because I haven't seen any criticism online because I'm on a nice side of the internet. But I saw people saying that people were complaining that Luke was doing all of the singing, like Luke's not the lead vocalist of this band, which is crazy. But I really liked how they used the other band members vocally and not just to sing background vocals, but they used them in a way to like really balanced out Luke's singing. In this song,
Mhm.
Callum does a lot of talking vocals, and it's kind of like call and responsey to Luke's singing the lyrics. This is a good song.
It's such a good song.
World is
Um,
spinning. I'm not dizzy. Call you, but your
call
telephone
you.
busy.
The problem is that this my big issue is that this song was a single. I don't think this song should have been a single. I think this song should have been your treat for listening to the album.
I have mixed feelings because I think I think Not Okay and the other single Boy Band were both good, but I think Telephone Busy is the best of the three of them. So I
Oh,
like having
yes.
two songs that were similar enough in vibe, but kind of at a lesser level. And then you're like, okay, you have a high point that we are gonna hit in this album. And normally I don't like when you put
Hi.
your singles back to back because Boy Band is the next track. I liked it in this album, and I also don't normally like putting your singles so early, and I did like it here.
I didn't but oh my god, what a song.
What a
There's
song.
also a line where he goes, "Big heart that I tore apart. This one's gonna leave a scar." Um and he has like a little affect on his voice in there that sounded a little bit Mona Skinny to me. Um, but I liked it. I also feel like this is just like perfect grown up five sauce. I think this is really like exactly what they were intending to do, and it really, really worked.
You know that gif of the little kid in the club, he's got the sunglasses on, he's dancing?
Mm-hmm.
That's what
Mm-hmm.
this
This is how
that's
that makes
every
me feel.
time I hear this song, that's what I think of. Also, it just in terms of grown up five sauce, it made me think of this and the evolution of their sound. One of the lines in the song is, "You're just uncomfortable being with somebody who's good for you," which I think is a really nice bridging of classic five sauce, which is they love a mean woman and like a
Mm-hmm.
not so great for them relationship. And that just feels like a lot of growth. And actually, now that I'm thinking about it, it also reminds me a little bit of, again, have not listened to Callum Hood's solo stuff, but one of the tracks was "Don't Forget You Love Me." And he said that came from something his ex-girlfriend said to him when they broke up. He was like, "Is there anything I can do for you?" And she said, "Don't forget you love me." And I was watching them on the Zach Sang show, that guy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and Zach Sang said, "What does that mean?" What do you mean? What does that mean? Anyway, I have thoughts and opinions, but
I just on that real quick, I haven't seen a full interview that he's done, but I've seen a lot of clips.
I
And
suffer.
boy, howdy, journalism is fake now.
I have to really like the artist to listen to him interview somebody. All respect and love.
Dumb.
We please pay us to do that. We're so fun. But anyway, Callum Hood said his ex girlfriend said, he said, "What can I do for you?" She said, "Don't forget you love me." Zach was like, "Well, what does that mean?" And Callum was like, "Well, you have to ask her." But
I don't know.
he was like, "This is what I think it means," but like that's a question for her. But using something that someone said to you that's not a criticism so much, but like you kind of like a call, yeah, I guess a criticism or a call out of yourself. So same thing here is like you're uncomfortable being with someone who's good for you. It's like you are sabotaging this. You know what else it makes me think of? Dove Cameron, since we're talking about Mona Skin. She was talking about one of her ex-boyfriends, who knows who, but she said when they broke up, her ex-boyfriend said to her that he couldn't be in a relationship with her because looking at her was like, she was so pure that looking at her was like
Mm.
looking in a mirror, and he didn't like what was like bouncing off of her because it was him. So like that sort of idea is like you try and find these ways to justify your behavior, but someone calling you out, which is something else 5 seconds of summer loves. Someone calling you out and being like, that you are sabotaging this and you need to learn how to live with yourself like that.
Gotta
That was a
fix it.
convoluted point, but I think we got there.
I think you made it. Um, there's also Ashton was talking about. He said, I really wanted to just write some stuff that I wanted to hear out, and that's really where all of our stuff comes from. Sometimes it's like what's missing when I go out into the world. And if I made Telephone Busy, I'd be like, amazing. I want every song to sound like this.
That kind of reminds me, we've talked about this before, but I always wonder when artists make music is, do they make music that like, because they'll be like, "Oh, this is my favorite band, this is my favorite band." Do they make music that they think their favorite bands make? Because generally don't think they do. Or do they make stuff that just like, does the sound come from someplace else? Like, what do they think they're putting out? Do they think they're putting out the best music in the world? Because then they'll say, "Oh, but my favorite band's Radiohead." And I'm like, "Yeah, but your sounds nothing like a Radiohead song, you know?" Which is not a bad thing. Also, in terms of like them getting to try different things, I think this was produced really well because everything's balanced very well. So
Mm-hmm.
when one thing or the other shines through, it's purely because of talent or like the thing they're trying, the new thing they're trying. In this song, Michael, there's like this like it's an electric guitar, I know, but there's like this electronic sound to it that's like very like computery. I don't know how else to explain it. Um, on the chorus right before the bridge, and then he's like, you can hear him like sliding up the neck of the guitar, which I really love.
This producer specifically, his name is Jason. I'm not confident enough to say his last name. But he's pulling out bangers. Talk Dirty by Jason Derulo,
That
Heart
is a
Attack,
good
Demi Lovato,
song.
Vicious, Sabrina Carpenter, The Loneliest, Måneskin.
Oh, we
Um,
love those
yeah,
guys. That
yeah.
explains the Måneskin vibe a little
Mhm.
bit, actually.
Zombie Lady too.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, also, sorry,
and
before I forget, I did see Ashton say they like so they went away to write at a house they were talking about,
mm,
and each of them had like a studio, and they'd like pull whoever of the writing team they brought with them to write, and then Ashton like was trying to get his turn in the main studio, and he didn't, so he just built the studio in like the living room of the place, I think, and then they were like, yeah, we came back 4 hours later, and he just had this song written.
I think Five Sauce has also, I think, worked with not necessarily. Well, I think they've worked with a lot of the same people throughout their time. Um, and I think they work with people who understand the kind of music that they want to make. And I think Five Sauce themselves also understand the music that they like to make. Yes, Kalina.
They spoke about this. I watch interviews while I'm at work.
Oh, thank God.
They said they were very intentional about who they tried a new writing process for this. They hadn't really gone away and like locked. They like went off to Tennessee or something. They hadn't really done that before, but they pulled people that throughout their careers as artists, both as a group and solo, that they knew they worked with well. They liked the stuff that they created with them. And I know on one song, I don't remember the song in particular, but on one song specifically, they pulled someone who they'd met like early days and who said, "Oh, I like you guys. Like you're really witty." And they said that was something they're like, when we're together, we're just always doing a bit. So we that's something we wanted to come through in our music is like that tongue in cheek, witty humor that we have with each other on a day to day basis.
And it does.
I love a commitment to a bit. Life's
Me
so much
too.
better when you commit to a bit.
And you know what my favorite bit to commit to is?
Do tell.
The fact that I have a movie podcast.
I was gonna say committing to the bit is why we're here right now.
Yeah. Um, okay. Now, the next song I'm gonna need about 20 minutes for,
Okay.
so you get to go first.
Okay.
You just do your thing, and then I'm gonna start, and you just cut me off when I have to stop. Okay?
Okay, no problem. This is Boy Band. I really like the opening of this song. It makes me visualize walking down like a red carpet, flashing paparazzi. It's in slow mo. I don't really know where I am. I'm disoriented. I don't really want to like. It's just like that sort of energy is what I'm picturing. Like
Mhm.
overwhelming, but not in a
Mhm.
loud way. And then one of the lines is "Give me everything I want." And Eleanor and I love when they flip something. So in the first verse he says, "Give me, give me, give me, give me everything I want." Start of the second verse he says, "Give you, give you, give you everything you want." So I like that. I also think it looks at, again, where this album followed the 5 Seconds of Summer tour, for all intents and purposes, when they started writing this album, which was like their 10-year anniversary, a look back at their discography and their career up to this point, right? I feel like that's very clear in this album because this album is now revisiting those things, but with a, I don't want to say jaded lens, but something Eleanor and I've talked about before is like loss of the American dream, that sort of vibe, and like getting the thing you wanted most in the world and realizing it's not what you thought it was going to be. So going from okay, we're getting to live our dream of making music, and now everything I do is to feed your desires. Essentially, I don't get to do that for myself anymore. And I like this line, make that monkey dance. The monkey dancing is something that comes up throughout the album. And I was wondering where that like idea came from because when I hear make that monkey dance, I think of those little monkey toys with the symbols.
Mhm.
But is it from like because I know weren't treating circus animals phenomenally prior to literally any time recently.
And
Um
also still currently.
yeah, and also still currently. So is it from that? I in my head I like to picture the little monkey. So it's like something you can put on display
I think it's
and
worse, but
yeah, and manipulate for want of a better word into whichever way you would like. And back to Callum's talk singing, this is where I really felt like the balance was really, really good. I think those are my points.
thank you.
Free reign.
Thank you. Okay. So this song is quite possibly the best 5 Seconds of Summer song to ever be made.
Okay.
Um, it's not, but it is my favorite. I think it's my favorite lyrically. Um, because if there's one thing I love, it's a fame critique. If there's one kind of fame critique I love, it's boy bands. And we went, I think, very in depth on this our last 5 seconds of summer episode, so I'm not going to do it again. But I think it's so interesting that they kind of accidentally wound up with a boy band label. Label being like not like music label, but like they kind of tripped and fell into being a boy band. Um, and I just think it's a very interesting space to have to exist in when like you think you're the world's next Blink 182 and the world thinks of you as One Direction, but you sound slightly funny. I think it's a very like difficult place to be in. And I also like this song because like we were talking about with like the bite the apple, like they gave into it a little bit. I mean, you like there's a line that says make me the flavor of the week.
Hmm.
Um if you have the opportunity to be the white boy of the month, I do think you should take it.
You
And
absolutely should
they
take it.
did. Um Also the line that says stay young, love me till I get it wrong. Um could go on for hours about this, but it's so just fantastic to encapsulate like what a boy band is, but in a way that is good and fun.
Hmm.
Um, I pulled a Luke quote where he says, "This song started as wanting people's attention and having that feeling and knowing what it's like with and without it. It started as a dark internal dialogue, and then we added in the boy band thing, and it gave this nice lightness to it. So it's kind of like a dark song, but it's got that Five Socks ironic thing that I really love. Um, I I don't think the boy band thing gave this lightness. With all love and respect to Luke Hemmings, I think the boy band thing made this like darker, but in a very, very good way because it's just such a specific experience that speaks to me specifically, a member of at least two boy bands by association.
Okay, which do?
Five Thousand One Direction,
That's what I
of
thought.
course.
I was looking it up. I 95% sure I watched them do a Triple J interview, and
Mhm,
the interviewer said that it's really interesting. They're like reclaiming the word boy band because it's a dirty word. And they were all like, I don't think it's a dirty word. Like we've always heard it as a very positive connotation. And I kind of felt like that was a cultural thing. Like they talked about in Australia specifically, because the I think Triple J was Australian. But I felt like in America being called a boy band for a long time was like that's definitely a dirty word. That's a criticism of a band. It's like you could be selling out stadiums, but like at the end of the day, oh, it doesn't really mean anything because you're just a boy band. So I agree. I don't think the boy band, it's like boy band theme itself lended a lightness to the song. But I think if you are not dissecting it in the way we are, the idea of someone, and we talk about, we just have the same brain because like I love a flame critique as well. But the idea of someone being like, "Oh my god," it's that bit in Friends where he's like, "My diamond shoes are too tight, and my wallet can't fit
mhm.
all my It's like that. It's like, okay, well, you're living your dream, and you get to do what you love, and you get to do it with your friends for a living. You get paid millions and millions of dollars to do that, and you're sad about it because sometimes people put you in a box. So I think it adds lightness in the sense that the people that it's not for are going to view it that way. Boo hoo, you're a boy band, big deal. But people who are insane, we get it. And it if you're not looking at it to, you're just listening, it's on the radio. It's like stay young, love me. You're not really listening to the till I get it wrong part or make me the flavor of the week part.
I saw a I don't remember if it was a TikTok comment or what, but somebody was like, "This should have been a single," which like it was, wasn't it?
Yes. I was like, where are we going with this?
They were like, "This should have been a single. It would piss off the metalheads," and it's like, well, that's just a lyric in the song,
You're not funny.
actually.
Actually, speaking of
Like,
TikTok comments, I saw someone, again, I haven't seen any actual criticism of this album, but someone said that people were saying this album was simple lyrically. And I agree with that to an extent, not in a negative way, but I think they couldn't get too deep. Like, again, stay young, love me till I get it wrong. It's not super deep. It does require a little bit of thinking, but it's not like the deepest lyrics 5 Seconds of Summer's ever written. But anyway, TikTok comment said people were complaining, "Oh, this is really simple lyrically," and they're like, "You're not listening to the song." It made me think about what you said a couple weeks ago about when people do comedy well, no one really notices because it seems easy when you do comedy well. And I think that when you do your lyricism really well and craft your narrative really well, it seems very easy because it just the music just flows so
Mhm.
nicely that it seems like you didn't put any effort into it. But they did, and they ate it up.
They did. Yum yum yum.
Shut up.
We're on the next song,
We're on
right?
the next song, track number
We're
5.
on the next song.
Actually, this is how I feel about this album right now.
It's your number one obsession.
I This came out on Friday, and that is the only thing I listened to for 2 days.
It is a good song. I also think it's the perfect length for an album.
Oh yeah,
Um,
I was gonna say the last 2 albums I reviewed were 12 songs, and I might be changing my mind a little bit on the 10 song. I still think shorter is better, but a 12 track 36, 37 minute album, pretty solid.
Pretty ideal, yeah. Um, so I would like to up top this that this is a good song, and also I pulled a quote from Ashton talking about this song. Um, and he goes, it talks about people on their phones every day listening to music, seeing a billion images a day. It talks about the serotonin and dopamine that comes from whatever comes through on your iPhone screen. Um, and like I'm sure that he wrote this song so he knows what he was talking about. Unfortunately, I do think he's wrong. Um, to me, this is like an other side to boy band where it to me this song is like craving fame in a way that is just all consuming in a way that I find particularly sexy.
I agree. I did not agree with that quote when I read it. It makes me think very much, and again, just they went all in on the visuals for this. They did a pop up gig or something of that sort in London recently, and the performance was inside like a Barbie box, essentially. Like they were toys inside of a
Oh.
box. So like there was like a screen between them, right? Film between them. That's what this song is you're being put up on a shelf to me and boxed up and packaged. And I can agree with the millions of images a day, like sort of that overwhelming sense, but not like in content on my phone, but in content about this thing that, like, okay, I want you to be obsessed with me, I have to get you to buy into it, and so like I'm putting out what I can, what I think will appeal to you. And again, like they very much leaned into different characters, each of them, for this, and like sort of the caricatures or stereotypes you'd be put into in a boy band. Um, so it feels like that. It's like, okay, you like the mysterious one, so I'm just gonna plug you full of content and images relating to that band member or to that vibe, and so on and so forth. Also, I love the opening line on the song. I know that boys don't cry. I got tears in my eyes. This is off to a rough start for me. I don't think Luke Hemmings should be sad and singing.
I don't think he should either, but in a completely different way that you don't think he should.
This is not good for. I said this about also Dancing with the Stars. Says Robert Irwin shouldn't be allowed to cry on live television. It's not good for my mental health.
Well, I mean, if we want to talk about sad Luke, let's talk about I'm scared I'll never sleep again,
Wait, I have some more
which I'm
thoughts
oh, sorry, you have more thoughts on
about
number
Sad
one
Luke.
obsession?
Well, yeah. So what
Okay.
happened is the first time I heard this, I listened to the first line and then I blacked out for the rest of the song. Right? Had to process that at a different point in time. I also view this very much as Fame as being like a toxic relationship. What I like about this
Mhm,
album, Five Sauce generally write about relationships, generally romantic relationships. I also think they do a good job of writing about their friendship and just, relationships that you have in your life. This album is very much about the relationship between them and fans and them and the industry. But again, it's toxic. We've talked about that critique of fame, loss of American dream. He says, I'd do anything to be the only one you think of. So like not it's not just enough to have your attention, but I need to be the again, so kind of like that image thing, but I need to be the only thing consuming your
mhm.
attention. all of the time. I don't love this bridge. I think 5 Seconds of Summer, masters of a bridge. This one, not
Yes,
as sold on, but compare like considering the discography we have to work with, it's just not fair to this song. They're masters of a bridge. So good.
they really are.
I'm sorry. Yes, next song now. Talking about Sad Boy
Okay.
Luke.
Yes. Um, Sad Boy Luke was really sad boy in I'm Scared I'll Never Sleep Again. I'm not even sure he is. I think he helps write this song. Um, Unfortunately, when I was listening to the album the first time, I was on such a high from like telephone busy into
In the
boy
boy
band
band.
into number one obsession.
Insane run.
Um, Crazy run, and then this. I heard the song and I was like, oh, maybe I hate this album. I didn't. I just don't like this song. This song also feels very Troye Sivan to me in a way that made me realize that Troye Sivan is also Australian. Um, don't know if anybody else knew that. Um, this song I thought about when you were talking about how they kind of picked mottos, whatever, for each song. And I did that. The image that put in my brain immediately was one of these people thinking of "I Want to Kiss Your '90s Face" and everyone else going, "Bro, that's fantastic." Because then they put it in that song like 3 or 4 times. I'm looking at the lyrics. I think it might only be twice. Um, but
That was
it's
twice too
such a
many for Eleanor.
twice too many. I think that line is so stupid that it made me not like the rest of this song. And this song also reminded me a little bit about I think Red Line in Five Sauce Five, which is a song that I also hated.
I think I would have liked this song if it was later in the album. I just think this again, insane run, not okay, telephone busy boy band, number one obsession. I'm scared I will never sleep again. That's my sleep paralysis demon has appeared, right? Like
hmm
how did we get
hmm
here? So I think later in the album, just shifting it would have like not even like yeah, just shifting it later in the album would have worked for it better. I didn't hate it. It does get kind of lost in the album for me. Like I hit this track and to be honest, the next track a little bit too, and I'm like, all right, we're at a little bit of a lull. I don't hate it. Not necessarily like my favorites. I, however, loved Callum's voice in this song.
oh yeah.
Callum Hood
Oh
can
yeah, this
do
is a
no wrong.
standout for Callum.
It was very much again back to that balance, his vocals versus Luke's singing, but it was giving me like 90s R&B music video vibes where he's like like they're talking to her like baby, I'm so sorry, like anything I did, I'll do whatever I can to get you back. Like that sort of and like I believed him, okay? I will come back. Also, I liked one line they say is "Now I'm screaming through a nightmare," and it's Callum saying it. But when they say "screaming through a nightmare," you hear Luke screaming the line in the background. So I like little things like that. I like little tidbits like that. I thought it was well put together. And again, same thing with the bridge. Generally, their bridges are very like the grooviest part of the song, and it's not happening on these tracks for me. But I do like how the song ends because it kind of feels like they're gonna go into another chorus, and I do like how they just kind of trail off in it. So like sonically I like the song, just personally not one of my favorites, but I think it was put together very well.
I also think that I was not in the right place. I had just gone back from 2 vacations with people I love very much. I don't need to hear about every bed is cold without you on it. Don't do that to me right now.
Yeah, and then
Um,
that's why I brought up a couple of lines earlier about like I don't remember what the line is specifically now, but about sleeping and like sleeping without you because this song is kind of like the pinnacle of that concept. Every bed is colder without you in it. And
or
I
like
still
shelter cats
feel the
that
same
nobody
about you
wants.
as I did to, when I saw you last.
Okay, good. It's been 2 weeks.
I was gonna say when I met you, but
No.
very different feelings.
I still feel the same. Is stylized in all
That's the next
one
track
word,
in case you
all
didn't get my
lowercase.
joke.
Yeah, sorry. I
Sorry.
still feel the same. Kalina did a very good job. And it was so good and so funny that some people probably couldn't even tell.
Thank you.
Um, I like that they stylized it like this. I feel like they did that for me. Um, I really like this song. Part of the reason I really like this song is because one of my album listens, I stopped after Without You I Wouldn't Sleep, and then came back and listened to this song first after a long break, and I was like, "Oh my god, maybe it is good," because it was bad when it was butted up against "I'll Never Sleep with You Again" or whatever.
Yeah, let's not let you name songs if we ever make an album. That will not be your job. I hate
Thank
how
you.
this is stylized. Actually, I think it's crazy. Mostly because I just like I don't like when I don't like when songs on an album are all one way and then they're like, ooh, look over here, this is different. Don't do that to me. You got listen. Even if all the song titles were like all lowercase, I'd be like, okay, I can get behind it. But that's just me being nitpicky. I do like again commit. I need you to commit to a bit in terms of how you stylize your song titles. I'm so sorry. Why is there no spaces? This also gave me solo Luke vibes. This and the last song. I don't remember what Luke's solo album sounded like, to be completely honest. Again, Eleanor and I share a brain cell because you wrote that down and I said
Yeah,
that's
I have that note for a different song.
see. These last two songs gave me solo Luke vibes. I think just because it was sad boy, not so rock in the pop rocky genre, you know?
Mhm.
Um but I don't yeah, I'm not confident enough in his discography to lay my life down on that one. But Michael's verse in this, that second verse really revives this song for me.
I see. I have a note. I said I thought Kalina might like this because it's very Michael heavy, and you
I
love a
love a
Michael
Michael
song.
vocal. Yeah. I saw that he only got one song in this album, and people were complaining about like whoever did like early listening, and that's a crime against humanity. But
Hmm.
whatever. Also, in like the best way possible, this was the least 5 seconds of summer song on this album. I think they have a very distinct sound. You could play a 5 seconds of summer for me, song for me, and I will like I just know the way they just
Hmm.
have a very distinct sound, which I think is really hard to do, especially considering the way they have written their albums and the path those have taken sonically. Thinking about a jump from sounds good, feels good to a young blood to a calm, very different vibes, but very clear intention. And again, I think it all comes back to they're friends and they love each other. And when they make music, they have a
Oh,
very clear direction they are like end goal in mind when they start the creative process.
I agree. I also, Callum called this modern ballad for Five Sauce, which I think is very on point. Um, this song, I am gonna say another stupid sentence. There's a Tate McRae song where she gave I don't know his name, but her ex boyfriend, who is Australian, Kid Leroy, I think
They
his
broke
name
up.
is. I believe
I
so.
don't know why I know either of those people, but
Anyway, he has a verse on one of her songs. It's an awful verse, but the cadence of that verse reminds me of this song a lot. And I think I'm just realizing that people are Australian. I
yeah,
think that's what
like
I'm
that's the
doing.
connect enough. Funnily
Um,
enough, the only thing Kid Leroy song I know is the song MGK's on, and I don't listen to the Kid Leroy part at all. And like MGK's verse is not his finest work, but like it's pretty good, and I'll go listen to it and then turn off the song.
as you should. I think this song is a little bit of a bop. I think it's a needed kind of up after I'm scared I'll never sleep again. Or are we I can see the thought coming to Kalina, or maybe she's just reading and trying to figure out her notes. I don't know. So I'm not sure if we can move
I
on yet.
also would have preferred this track a little bit later, is what we will end
I
with.
agree. Um, are we good to
Oh, I remember what it is. It's about the
Okay,
ballad poet.
perfect. Yes.
I think I'm slowly coming to the decision, tentatively. I think every album needs a ballad. To be fair, I did listen to the first album I listened to was a pop punk album, which I think every pop punk album needs one to two ballads on it just to
Hmm.
break it up. I think lyrically, pop punk lends itself very well to a ballad. And then the last album I listened to was a pop punk band who just shifted their genre a little bit. So I originally didn't agree with the term ballad, but I think I was looking for traditional ballad in the Mayday Parade sense, because the first album I listened to was a Mayday Parade album, and they have Miserable at Best, which is a piano, like true, tried and true piano ballad. So compared to the rest of the sound of this album, I would agree. But when I first read that quote, I was like, I wouldn't really call this ballad E. But I don't mind. I like these two songs back to back. I would have shifted them down towards the end. Now we can move on. Sorry.
Uh, Perfect. The next song is Ghost. Um, are you raising your hand?
Yes.
Yes,
Five
dear.
Seconds of Summer should not be allowed to release songs with Ghost in the title. Thank you.
No, correct. I agree. Um, I have two bullet points that I will share. The first one is I do not like this one and will be taking myself out of the conversation, but the bridge is fun. My other bullet point is big song for girls with daddy issues and a ketamine problem, which feels mean, but I am allowed to say that. Um, Also, I think daddy issues are less compelling coming from men. I'm so sorry.
I saw a Callum quote that said this was a very personal song to Luke. So we won't let Eleanor interview Luke when we eventually interview 5 Seconds of Summer, manifesting it now.
Yes,
We'll keep you quiet on that part. And
thank you. I also saw that quote, which is why I
that
was nice in my review.
was the nice version.
Yeah.
Um, Also, Callum says it gives a piece of his soul to the band, and you have to be cognizant of that when band members are like showing their heart on the sleeve. Also, I didn't realize the word cognizant was spelled like that. That's a different story. I don't know.
Okay, well,
The Z just
he
looks
ain't in my
weird.
band. I'll be
um,
respectful of your daddy issues.
we're coming out the gate swinging. He starts with, "You sound like me when you're drunk," and I just I don't know if it's delivery, the premise, whatever it is haunted by a similar. You and I are haunted by a similar ghost. Is devastating. Why are you doing this to us? 5 Seconds of Summer, and just this is not in a sad way, but in the last year or so, I hear myself saying something and I go, "Oh my god, that sounds like my mother." And not in a bad way, and not my mom and I sound the same. Like if we talk on the phone, people will get us confused. But just I'm like my mother would phrase a sentence that way, or she would explain something that way, and it's scary. So I kind of can get the growing older and finding these parts of yourself that maybe you don't like so much. And it may not, I don't necessarily think even daddy issues, but if we're talking about fame as this toxic relationship and they sing about relationships a lot, is kind of back to that Dove Cameron quote of like, I see myself reflected in you and I don't like what I'm getting back anymore. And like having to come to terms with what you're getting back is yourself. Also, we just kind of run with this sleep imagery theme throughout this album because in this song he says, "I don't want to go to sleep in the bridge." Oh, and this is a song that Kalina likes because I love when we talk about crashing our cars.
Drive safe. Don't do drugs.
I don't know, like I have a lot of thoughts about Dub Cameron, but I think about that quote that she said her ex-boyfriend said on the regular.
Yeah, the I've had a lot of moments, mostly at work, when somebody does something and I'm like, this is the most annoying thing you could ever do. And then I realize, oh, I
Yeah,
do
and
that.
it's just scary. And
It is
sometimes you have to
scary. And then you write
do
a bad song
ketamine
about it.
or crash your car.
Or both.
Don't do drugs.
Don't do drugs. Yeah. Me specifically should not do
Or
drugs.
anyone.
Or anyone, because they're bad for you. And you could get sick of yourself.
You know what? That one was okay. I'll give you that one. Sick of
Okay,
myself,
thank
track
you.
9.
Um, Sick of myself, track 9. Um, Again, another banger from Five Sauce about how the best thing you can do in life is love your friends and your wife.
We've got another sleeping imagery. He said, "Where are you sleeping tonight?" He wants to
Mm,
know. Also, this gave me like Beach Boys sort of groovy in the beginning of the song, which I
mhm.
think, reflecting back, if I still feel the same and I'll never sleep again. You've got me confused on the song title now. But I feel like if I'm scared I'll never sleep again and I still feel the same, tapped into that Beach Boy groovy, because I thought it was a really well done way of pulling back the rockier sound of the album, but not departing from it too much either. He says, "Drifting out of touch, miss who I once was." Oh, and you know what 5 Seconds of Summer lyric Eleanor loves? I'm gonna
Me?
misquote it. Yeah, it's he says, I think it's on a Five Sauce Five song, and he says, or maybe it's a Luke Hemmings song. You'll tell me. The line is, "Close my eyes at 17," and later on in the song he says, "Open them at 23."
Yeah, that's whatever Five Sauce Five song has the Joshua Tree remix. I don't remember what
Does
it's
it have a
called.
non-Joshua Tree version? Because I still haven't seen it. Oh, "Take My Hand," I think it is.
No.
I think.
Yes, thank you. It is.
Yeah. So
No, what happened is I don't think there is a non-Joshua Tree version. They just put Joshua Tree like version in the album title because they're fun and fresh. See how they did all lowercase in that one song? They're fun.
But yeah, "Drifting out of touch, miss who I once was" makes me think of "Take My Hand," "Close my eyes at 17, open my eyes at 23." And also kind of in this, I think another theme is self-identity, because they discuss defining themselves, like learning how to define themselves by themselves, because for so long everything they did was critiqued and judged, and they kind of got self-worth obviously from album sales and how people responded to them online. So learning how to internalize your self-worth. So just waking up one day and realizing you have to do the work yourself, and you can't rely on that for the good things, but you also can't let it make or break you.
I also think this falls in line with a specific genre of Five Sauce songs. The one I'm specifically thinking of right now is Better Man, where they're about self improvement, but it's also like it's self improvement because I met a girl that I really like, and also self improvement because I met somebody that I really don't like that reminds me of me. But also it's self improvement for a girl, which is like not that best reason to improve yourself, but we get bangers like this, so it's fine. Keep meeting women. Cheat on your wife if you have to.
Okay, well, I'm gonna say this since you said cheat on your wife. If you have to, don't cheat on your wife. I like that they did not, in this album as a whole, but in this song in particular, did not lean too much into the fame as my toxic relationship
Mhm.
metaphor. Because again, they write about relationships a lot. They write about toxic relationships a lot. So I feel like it would have been very easy to fall into that. And I don't think I would have enjoyed this album as much if they had simplified it in that way. But they're very clear about, yes, this is a relationship of a sort, but they're not masking it in any way. Like a lot of artists write songs about cocaine. And they're like, it's just like the one that's coming to mind is an MGK song, since we talked about him earlier. But he's like, I can't let people know that we hang out together, and I can't let the paparazzi catch us together. And I spent a week locked up with her in a room in Paris, and the song's about cocaine. And they're like, nope, it's about fame. Y'all are
Mm,
crazy.
sometimes things are about cocaine and it's okay.
Our childhood was stripped from us. Now here's a groove.
Eh, Um,
Gang gang.
evolve.
Mm-hmm. I think you should go
Um,
first.
okay. My first thing is there's way too much pre-song talking. I hate when they do that. Shut up. Um, Also, this song has our second or perhaps third man monkey mention where they go, I know you can make me a man from a monkey. Um, and again, this is can I say the C word again, Kalina?
Yes.
I said this is better man, but pathetic cunty version because it is. To be with her, you got to evolve. But also, I want to do drugs. I want to make love. I want to get fucked. It's so fantastic.
I
Um,
saw so many people online talking about, I can't believe they said that. And I was like, these are the people who are Wildflower. I remember when Wildflower came out, I was like, you're the only one that makes me what? Callum
uh,
Hood? What are you
uh,
saying?
uh,
It's not like a strange evolution in their sound.
it's really not. Also, if you know anything about Five Sauce drama from any point that they've been a band, Five Sauce be fucking. Five Sauce has children, okay? How do you get those? Also, this song has, I think, something that is, I think, new for Five Sauce. I don't think they've quite done something like this before, where they have what sounds like a snippet of like, to me it gives like 1950s sex ed,
Yeah.
um like educational material about how girls develop sooner than boys, and so girls are ready to learn earlier than boys.
Due to
um
myelination occurring 2 to 3 years earlier, which is a word
yes,
I never thought I would hear in a 5 seconds of summer song
it's a
or any
word I
song.
didn't know.
But
I Do you know that that word?
yeah, so it's like, it's basically this like coding that helps transmit messages.
Oh,
The messages in your, like, I think your nerves travel better.
thank you. I didn't know that. I knew it was some sort of sciencey word, which is honestly all I needed. But yeah, I hate an interlude like this. It doesn't usually work. I think it was a good touch for this song. I think it works in this song. I do not like it. But the rest of the song is so good that I don't care that there's an interlude or little talky bits at the front. This is just pure fun.
This is my favorite song on this album.
I
This is by far the best song on this album.
mhm,
I also would say I don't normally like interlude. I think if the song had continued after the interlude, I wouldn't have liked it. It ended the song, so that was fine to me. You can kind of call it a wash
mhm.
there. Also, it's just so unexpected. It is something new for them, so unexpected, and it's just an out of pocket series of words this lady
It
is saying
is
that you're like, you know what? Fair enough, that makes sense. I
go
also
crazy.
like that. I don't know if they've done this before, but I feel like with every song they've spoken very honestly and openly about what their intention with the song was. Like, I feel like before you could kind of leave a lot of things up for interpretation, but this whole album, every time I've seen them talk about it, they're like, this song is about us learning to redefine ourselves for ourselves. This song, Evolve, is speaking specifically to our female fans who have to deal with men who are not mature at all. And also kind of, recognizing that they were those not so mature men. But they, again, they don't like make it a metaphor for a relationship. They don't beat around the bush. They're like, here's what it's about. Here's a song. Here's the grooviest bass line you've ever heard in your life. Thank you, Callum Hood. Have fun.
Thank you, Callum Hood.
And like, this song doesn't sound like it at all, but when the minute this song opened, I said, oh, this is When You Walk Away, which before this song came out was their grooviest song.
This is produced by the same guy who did Telephone Busy.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Also, the Ashton vocals in here, it kind of, again, that sounds good, feels good vibe. Every time I think of that album, I think of Ashton shouting through a megaphone for whatever reason. I don't know if he did that, but that's the image in my mind. That's kind of what it sounds like here. And I like that we get a call and response between Ashton and Callum and Luke's vocals. It's in the refrain where Luke says, "But I want to have fun. I want to get high. I want to get drunk." And Callum's going, "When are you going to grow up?" So, like, that sort of call and response. I want to do drugs. I want to make love. I want to get fucked. And he's like, "When are you going to grow up? Get it together."
Out for a week, freak energy, you know what I mean. Ugh,
Do I?
what a song.
It's
Yeah,
so good. That, and then again, I think after this and the next track, you hit me with "I'm scared I'll never sleep again." You hit me with "I still feel the same." I'm ready for those now.
yeah. This song, the album has a very like weird tone shift throughout, and I do think it could have been planned a little bit better.
Because I don't think this is as boppy as Telephone Busy, Not Okay, but it's groovy, so it kind of keeps the energy
Mhm.
in the same ish place. So we would have kind of gone on a slow downward trajectory to kind of like the conclusion of the album had we just shifted that.
The next song is called The Rocks. Um, and I didn't like this song because when I looked up the lyrics, it did seem like a song that should work for me specifically. And unfortunately, what it did is I didn't like it. And it felt, to me, this song felt very, very boy band, the concept y, in a way that felt just antithetical to the rest of the album. And I don't know, it's so very like what makes you beautiful, where like I'll do anything for you, but it doesn't really feel like they've decided who this song is about. Um and I also just don't like how this song sounds. I'm so sorry.
Well, I don't want to share my thoughts.
Sorry.
I like the song. I thought it was unexpectedly groovy. I think I don't love the lyrics, but I the first few times I listened to it, I was like, I don't know what he's saying. This sounds fun. It's great. And when I looked at the lyrics, I didn't really take it so like yeah, a little bit on for the fans, but I didn't take it as serious, I don't think, as like I'm sacrificing myself for you, you know? Throw myself on the rocks for you. And he says, you said life's one hell of a ride, so why is it passing me by? So I just really like the concept of, waking up one day and your life passing you by, which sounds very sad, but I like there's that quote that says like you can't live in tomorrow, right? You can't wait till you have your dream job or till you have your dream body or your dream car. Like if you spend all your time waiting for those things to happen, you're gonna wake up in 50 years and you'll have done nothing. So like I love that concept. I use it all the time when I'm talking to people, and I use it to explain a lot of things. Also, I hear a bass and I kind of
I like
check, you know.
I think this has the bones of a song that I like, and it has good things. I just don't like it. I'm so sorry, respectfully, to 5 Seconds of Summer, and also to you, and mostly to you.
Thank you. I also liked it just because I felt like we were shifting back into the rock side of their pop rock genre. We
I
were
could
getting
see
like a
that,
little heavier.
which I don't like. So
That maybe that's what I think. If this had followed a different song, I wouldn't have liked it as much. I thought "Evolve into the Rocks" was a very good
mhm,
track lineup.
I could see that. Oh. Jawbreaker, fine, sure.
You know, it's a great song called "Jawbreaker," MGK's
But
song.
BBK's Jawbreaker, and it didn't help that I listened to his album, quite recently. Um, and I just, you know, I feel like this song was really a song, and it didn't end the album at all to me. It just kind of said, "Okay, one more, bye bye."
I didn't mind it as a closer just because I liked the idea of ending the album on a song about realizing you already have what you want. Through After we've gone through this album of like realizing getting what I wanted didn't like fulfill me in the way I thought it would, and like the pressures that came along with that. So that's how I kind of took this song. I also do like again commitment to a bit informed by what's the word? The zeitgeist is the word I like to use, like the culture. It Jawbreaker I assume is a reference to the 90s movie, and cuz they say something about like your American face, and they say so you're something from my TV screen. And it also kind of reminded me of I Want to Kiss Your 90s Face from I'm Scared I'll Never Sleep Again. He says I this is everything I didn't know I needed. So I wanted I'm Scared I'll Never Sleep Again, and I still feel the same to be before this song. However, I think if you had put them before this song, the end of this album would have been a wash.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think but like Jawbreaker I like well enough. I just kind of like what I said earlier about the bridge in one of the songs is like they just have like this album just had such strong moments that this was a weird place to take it, but I do think as a whole collectively it slots in well.
I just, I, I, I don't like that it didn't end on a friendship song. I think 5 Seconds of Summer is about friendship, and this song is about a girl. And I think girls were fine to write songs about, but like also It felt very this just it felt like a very singular experience. The song did, which
Hmm.
just felt like an interesting way to end a group album. Um, I don't know. It felt off to me. And also, yeah, there's already a good song called Jawbreaker. Okay. Um, those are all the songs.
Hmm. Do you have any thoughts about
I
them?
have a couple thoughts. I am realizing as I'm reading my thoughts, we've covered my thoughts.
Okay.
Um,
Would you like me to go?
yeah, I would like you to go. Thank you.
As we touched on this, I feel like the main themes here were fame, the American dream, which we eat that up, and identity. I really love I always call it a theme, but I think it's more like visuals or imagery. I like when a band is consistent with that. Again, I think it gives you a very, very clear picture of how they conceptualize the things they write about and how they conceptualize the creative process. We had a lot of sleep imagery, honey imagery, monkey like performing imagery. I loved that just continued throughout because it connected all the songs in a really good way. I said this, I tweeted this. Sonically, this is a combination of Youngblood and Calm and Five Sauce Five with the like tongue in cheek satire of Sounds Good, Feels Good, and Five Sauce. So I think like lyrically, that's what I like. Lyrically, they returned to their earlier sound because I think they had honed it in pretty early. I
Hmm.
just think when you think about that whole boy band connotation and their early years turn with One Direction, that's where some of the I think skill, for want of a better word, got lost. Like I don't think they lost skill. I just think they were discredited because of
Hmm.
how their start came about. So they took that lyricism and like that wittiness that I talked about, that one producer they worked with said they had, and attached it to this newer sound that I think is more reflective of them. After listening to this, I definitely want to hear more of their solo stuff because I think especially because you get contributions vocally from Ashton and Callum in a much clearer way than usual. And Michael, I think we know what Michael contributes vocally, and also they all had moments in this album where they stood out instrumentally for whatever
Hmm.
reason. They like tried. I think they all tried something new on this album, and it paid off in different points. So I would like to hear that on an evolved scale, or like on an expanded scale for each of them individually. And I said that I felt that Sounds Good, Feels Good was sort of an emotional, young teen, early 20s response to being criticized and being called a boy band when you don't want those things. Whereas this feels more like a intellectual response.
Hmm.
It is evolved. It's much more mature. It's not so much your mom, which is what Sounds Good Feels Good sounds like. Not in a bad way.
Yeah.
I love that. It's a good fun album, but it's very much like and you. So and sex, drugs, and rock and roll is my favorite genre of music.
Yes, it is. And car crashes.
And
Which, if
car
if
crashes.
you're doing the rest of them right.
You'll end up there eventually. And I think that last point is I think this album had a little something for everyone. So it showcased not just how versatile 5 Seconds of Summer are, but it also helped to break those stereotypes and those boxes that they discuss being put in at such an early age and early point in their careers.
Perfect. Um, what we're you want to end with our top three songs and then scoot on?
Scoot on.
All right. Um, I guess I'll go first because I brought it up.
Yeah.
Um, in no particular order, Telephone Busy is number one. I know I said in no particular order. That one's a particular order. Um, and then Evolve and number one Obsession. Um,
Okay.
but I think yeah, those are
Subject
my
to
top
change.
three. Subject to
My
change, but
top
like
three
Telephone Busy.
are
Oof.
definitely there. My top three, I guess I'll go in order, are Evolve, Telephone Busy, and The Rocks.
Okay.
Subject to change on the third one, but I like a groove more than anything else. So
Me too. Boy,
Callum
do
Hood
they
can do no
groove.
wrong in my eyes.
Okay,
I know there's
Kalina.
other band members there, but I hear a bass and I go groove.
Oh, how many stars?
The joke doesn't work as well.
Yeah, it does.
Um,
Well, you laughed.
I laugh at everything you do. I'll give it 4 stars. I feel like that's a little generous. It's probably more like a 3.5, but I'm allowed. I think we're allowed to be biased about one band, and this is it for us.
Yeah, I also give it 4 stars. Some notes, perfect album.
Yeah, it. I think as a again commitment to a bit. I think as an overall experience, not just the album itself, but the visuals and the marketing
Mhm.
and the also the timing of this. They didn't make us wait too long. I was looking at when they released the singles. One was like at September 24th, October 14th or something like that. Then October 23rd, this album's out, what, 2 weeks later? So they didn't make us wait too long. We got a
Mm,
lot of fun content. There was the posters that they started with, Your Favorite Boy Band is
posters were
back.
fun.
So, like, they really just crafted an experience.
They
So I
did.
think it's almost hard to detach that from the album experience in the best way.
Yeah. And spoiler alert, we're probably gonna talk about this album again when we go see the show. Um, so maybe we'll have different feelings by then. Maybe we won't.
Wow. Wow. Oh,
We'll
I
still
would
love
like
Five
us to
Seconds of
do
Summer.
whenever we're short for content, we should do a perfect 5 seconds of summer set list, I think, for the show. That'd kind of be
Okay.
fun.
Okay. It'll be 12 blenders and then evolve and then go home. But
Okay,
okay.
perfect. Mine is telephone busy, wrapped around your finger, wrapped around your finger, wrapped around your finger, wrapped around your finger, evolve. Maybe a best friends, end with desert, we go home.
Heartbreak Girl, go home.
Yeah, perfect.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time
Being here
being
with
here.
us.
Um, remember to keep evolving.
That has been Eleanor. I have been Kalina. We will be back next week. Thank
Yeah,
you
we're
so
done now.
much.
Thank you so much.
Um, you can find us on TikTok and Twitter and Instagram. We are pretty active on all of those. Very, very funny.
Very funny.
Please comment, like, subscribe, all that dandy stuff. I'm trying to interview 5 Seconds of Summer before I die. And no
Okay.
one knows how much time they have on this earth. So,
Okay. I think you do a really good job at it. And Michael and I can talk about hair dye.
goodbye.
Goodbye.
Thanks for listening. Don't quote me on that. One day we will have an outro, but it's not today.